This is Joshua Hotagolong, a 33-year-old Indonesian coffin maker who became a millionaire overnight. You may ask, how is that even possible? Isn't overnight millionaires just a facade? Well, yes, they are, but this is a bit weird. While working on a coffin, a small, tiny itsy-bitsy meteorite crashed through his roof, a meteorite weighing a mere 2.1 kilograms, but costing an enormous $1.8 million. And that's way less than 0.0000000000001% of the worth of precious metals in an asteroid. I know it's a lot of zeros, but that's the truth. With such an unreal amount of money on the line, why isn't anyone trying to mine asteroids? Or are they secretively? What are the benefits and what are the hurdles? Is it really worth it? Or just a complete waste of time?
Think what we're doing here on Earth. We're waging war and fighting each other to pull precious metals and other resources deemed rare out of the ground, and this is our life down here on this speck we call Earth, and there's this abundance of materials in the universe.
Asteroids practically contain an inexhaustible amount of resources. In fact, asteroids, or space mining to be specific, might just be the gateway to the stepping stone we need to conquer that final frontier. And according to people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, if Jeff Bezos doesn't beat them to it, the first trillionaires will be space miners.
And by the way, the first trillionaire is going to be the first person who exploits space resources on asteroids, on comets.
So let's explore the next $1 trillion industry of space mining. If you want to catch this $1 trillion train before it's too late, then you need at least a basic knowledge about gravitational physics, rocket science and data science, and don't forget some computer programming. Or you can go the other way and straight up watch this video. I strongly suggest you stick with the latter. Asteroids are clumps of leftover rocks and dust from when the planets were forming in our solar system, and although mining asteroids sound a little far-fetched, it has already happened. Japan's Hayabusa. Hayabusa spacecraft landed on the surface of an asteroid after a 2-year flight. The Hayabusa docked with a floating rock for 2 years, collected a tiny sample of the asteroid along with a ton of data, and started its flight backwards to return to Earth in 2010. This mission fired the gun of a new race for extraterrestrial mining. No longer was space mining science fiction, and all we had to do was to upscale the process. So now that you fellas know it's possible, what kind of asteroids are we exactly looking for? Well, that's exactly the samples brought back by Hayabusa revealed.
So it's more than just harnessing the asteroid, it's creating an entire business model that gets you access to asteroids in the first place.
One type of asteroids contain valuable and rare metals such as palladium, iridium and gold. These metals happen to be the same ones that we use in our smartphones, laptops and other electronic gadgets. Metals that create a lot of pollution and destruction when terrestrially mined. A great example of such an asteroid would be the 16 Psyche, a huge asteroid laden with gold and other precious metals which is theoretically estimated, wait for it, to be worth around $720 million. In today's metal prices, that's 20 zeros by the way. All the gold in asteroids sound tempting. The problem with mining asteroids like this is that even if you have extracted a bunch of metals, by the time you get them back here on this little blue planet, you would have spent way more money than to mine the metals just here on Earth. Not to mention that if we mine so much gold, gold will be dirt, and if everyone becomes a billionaire, then get ready to pay $1 million for the fancy Starbucks coffee you are waiting for. This is where the more sensible idea comes into play. The C-types. C-types asteroids contain something that we have plenty of out here but is worth its weight out there in space. Water. If we want to colonize and move further in space, we need water, a lot of it.
What's valuable in space is not the same thing that's valuable down here. For example, you can ask, what is the value of a gallon of water already in space? That's different from a gallon of water here on Earth. When NASA needs water, it's got to haul water up its space with it.
90% of a rocket's mass is fuel and water. And if we have enough water, then its hydrogen and oxygen can be broken down into hydrogen fuel and oxidizer. dramatically reducing a rocket's mass and drastically cheapening space exploration.
Extract water from one of the asteroids, then you have water in space. What's that worth to NASA? All right, if they can provide that to NASA for less than what it takes NASA to get these resources into space to do whatever it needs to do in space, then that's a business model right there.
Just imagine a chain of gas stations in space. You pull up your rocket and pay some $15,000 for some exotic rocket fuel. Well, nothing special, just a weird liquid of hydrogen. And then you go to the nearby space station and grab a Starbucks. Wow, what a life. Well, enough of joking right over there. The first asteroids that we tackle would be near Earth ones to keep it easy. And that's all fine and dandy, but how exactly would you mine it? Well, that's a bit complicated. It's not just latching onto it, sticking a drill and starting to mine. Because asteroids are so small, they are held by just a tiny amount of gravity. If you drill too hard, you're gonna risk the asteroid simply breaking apart around you. That certainly doesn't seem like a sensible idea, unless you are almighty baby Yoda. Engineers have to churn up their minds and get a little more creative. One such company paving the way for mining water and other stuff from asteroids is called TransAstra. Install some giant mirrors, focus some sunlight to boil out the gases, and enjoy the water by freezing the vapor and forming ice. Or if you are a bit more ambitious, take it a step further, grind the dried rocks into gravels and dust, then make use of a huge centrifuge to separate the dense metals from the light ones. Boom!
Planets that never formed fully. But many of them, all the materials have already been segregated for us. Segregate, a good term in this context. And so you get the heavy metals in the center and the lighter materials in the top. You fragment this body, and now you have chunks of asteroids that are pure heavy metals: platinum, iridium, osmium, gold.
You get your metals, now you can take them back to Earth either via reusable rockets or 3D printed space pods, further cheapening the process. This might be humanity's key to explore the universe further and meet our alien friends. None of this is a science fiction, and we don't need new physics to make asteroid mining happen. All we need is a little push. But for those who are fascinated by the idea of precious metals, well, better luck next time, because the water team takes the win this time. This is the end of the video for today. Make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel. Peace.
So many days is yet to come. Too many times has come to pass. Too many moments put aside, getting out.